course, one of the most popular Counter-Strike and esports professionals talking about some pretty interesting subjects.
Fatherhood.
Yes,
well, you would know about
family.
That.
I've heard
esports and fatherhood. It's kind of right up your alley.
It is right in my alley, isn't
it?
In your alley, up it. Let's be careful of our words here. I know it's late night, but...
Pala.
Let's
not be childish, even if you're talking about fatherhood, which is quite childish for the most part.
Well, no, but he was speaking about the support of his family, right? And how important is that as a esports professional?
I can relate to the fact that obviously, you know, I've played Counter-Strike for quite a bit with having kids, and it's definitely not easy balancing the family life and playing CS. You know, it's when I was working full time and playing CS, it would be a lot of the days when I would be working, you know, from like 8 a.m. to like 4:30, and then we have like a family dinner, and then you go play practice from 6 p.m. to like after midnight, and then rinse and repeat for like 5 days a week a lot of the time. So definitely not something a lot of fun, but well, Pasha obviously plays for a living.
Must take a lot of dedication, right?
Yeah, obviously it's a passion, right? So it's one of those things you do just because you love it. You love it so much.
And talking about the passion, he said that he and his team eventually want to open a sort of esports academy or school within Poland and teach the people their ways of...
Still alive, boys.
And this is the VP squad. On screen, we saw Pasha, Neo,
38,
Taz,
30.
30. Oh, he's only he's
Violi,
already 30 years old. Taz.
and of course Nax.
Oh my God, what a photo. Taz, you're 30 already.
And that is VP over there shouting towards me.
And I'm
Thank you very much, Taz. I appreciate that. Best of luck in the matchup. Going back to my point before the wonderful video was made.
I'm signing with VP as well now. I mean,
Pasha was talking in the interview about how he and his team want to create some sort of esports school or academy and show the people of Poland their way, the esports way, and I guess maybe build up the scene there.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've seen, for example, Heat and NIP is taking the initiative, their area 08 kind of like a summer camp thing where it's about esports, it's about sports, it's about... Yeah, a lot of things combined.
Well, yeah, and I guess the golden example would be Fallen.
Well, yes, Games Academy, right?
Academy,
Shout out to Fallen if you're watching.
You know, talk about just building an entire scene pretty much in a region based off of that. Like, he kept pretty much CS alive for the better part of it before CSGO came around and actually became a global game. So, no, really, really cool to see the Virtus.pro guys kind of thinking about the next generation as well.
And talking about Fallen, I mean... Then you're talking about someone who's actually changed people's lives because he actually got people to America and made them play this game for a living now, which is something that you can't do in Brazil. So, I mean, kudos.
And tying that all in with another topic that we've mentioned on the desk about domestic battles and stuff, I always have the impression in my head that if any Brazilian team come up against Fallen, they must be like, okay, I'm about to play the Godfather right now. I'm about to play the man that basically made me. And in that case, surely people are going to be... find it difficult to play someone of his, you know, esteem within their own country.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about both the ups and downs about this kind of domestic battle as an underdog or as a heavy favorite. And I mean, it's always complicated to go in and describe in details how the match is going to look because it depends from team to team, nation to nation, how these people actually know each other. And I mean, for example, if you talk about the Danish scene, then people has been mixed on teams for like 300 times, so they basically know tendencies, etc. When you talk about Virtus.pro versus Dobry&Gaming, I mean...
Exactly.
There hasn't been any, no mixing, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, but yeah, and they're still played together at the times they've used the stand-ins from the teams, right? So, I mean, there's a little bit, but obviously they don't play each other, well, virtually ever, do they? So
no, yeah, actually it's been roughly a year since these two teams played each other, and I don't even think they had the same lineup at that point. Obviously, speaking of Dobry, because, well, VP hasn't changed the lineup in God knows how long.
I don't know if you guys can hear Cuban shouting at me. Cuban, that is very much appreciated. Thanks for the support, but why don't you focus on coaching your team, getting them through this matchup? And that's why I brought up Fallen, because this is a domestic... There we go, CSGO Lounge on the screen right now.
AWP player, right? And Innocent, the guy who's really been performing here at this LAN event.
Yeah.
Mouse, the guy with the very high rating online, actually starting to live up to that at this event as well. Minis been playing the secondary AWP, also been showing up, and of course Michu, we know him for standing in for VP, we know him for doing very well at the 1-on-1 tournament.
And the slowest sensitivity in the world.
0.4, 400 DPI, boys. Go ahead and try and play with it and see how well you're gonna do.
Once again, as I was saying before the video popped up, this is a domestic matchup. If you are not aware, these are two Polish teams. Arguably, number one, that's not so much arguably, that's definitely true, VP. But number two, that could be between them and AGG. I would say it's CSGL. And so there are a lot of dynamics to kind of factor in here. The teams are going to know each other. There is that respect factor. Natu, it looks like you want to jump in.
Do I? I mean, it is a valid point to make. I mean, they've not met one another all too much at all. And I think we run through the numbers, and there's only like one map that the core of this lineup has been able to beat against Virtus.pro.
Yeah, and that was
online.
February in 2015.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be a factor here. The mind games and everything, and I can see Virtus.pro having the opportunity to push their CSGO launches buttons in the mental game. But that being said, big victories that the younger Polish guys have had this tournament. I think that's going to definitely boost their morale. They're going to feel more confident, and they're going to, they're not going to be steering away from taking those fair aim duels when they need to. We've seen a lot of times this tournament that they can definitely hang with the top dogs in terms of individual skill. Yeah, and I think it all comes back to what Katie talked about, really, with the mental aspect of it, seeing how Dobry has done excellent so far in this tournament. Probably been the most surprising team in at least to me, and how well they've performed. And with them being so high on confidence just from the previous games, going into this, they can have that mentality that this is finally our time to really trounce the Tree Kings or the Big Brother, and finally show who's boss. And I think that could play a big impact. They're not going to play scared or anything like that. And knowing their tendencies, because even though they haven't played official games versus each other, they've probably practiced versus each other quite a fair bit, a ton pretty much over the course of a year. And I think that could be a really big help for Dobry going into this. Like they're going to have no respect. Like I don't think they need to be afraid, really.
Halvor, thank you very much for your point. The teams are about to ascend into the stadium. Let's let the intro play.
Hit it off this, and now it's all about Charlie. Oh, he gets the shot. Oh my God, he picks up. What is jumping head down from Angel?
And there we go, Stepan steps out onto the stage. This stadium is truly something to behold at nighttime. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Nice lights.
If you are new to this tournament format and the way everything is being done in this wonderful stadium, the Dynamo Kiev Stadium here in Ukraine, then what we are about to see is Stepan introduce the teams. He's speaking in Russian. This is going out on the Russian stream as well. And the teams are going to, go up the steps as the football players, etc. would do. And they will enter their booth. They will shake hands. All the usual stuff.
Actually, I was wondering, right, because they had the European Championship here at 2012. Anyone remember who was in the final? I think it either was the Spain versus Italy. Right?
Could have been Spain, which were Chile or Netherlands?
I think it was the one where Spain won like 3-0 or something, 4-0, where Casillas was like, the referees put like 5 extra minutes, and he was like, can't you just like blow the game off,
I'm just trying to listen in to Stepan, see if I can get any idea of what he's saying. Yes, it is Dobry now coming out. I'm sure Dobry has some fans here, but it goes without saying, VP are one of the most popular teams in the world, and they're going to get a big reception. But these guys deserve their moment. Innocent, Maniz, the gang, Sparrow, Mouse. Great guys, great guys.
And this just shows that you don't need cool gaming clothes to actually make it far in a tournament, right? Because these boys not sponsored at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, this
It's
might
actually
be a
kinda
great
funny.
opportunity if
Yeah.
you're looking out for a team. Are you sitting at home right now, being the big guy, the big investor?
Exactly.
Maybe this is a team, boys.
It's actually pretty funny because they have had such lackluster performances at tournaments while they were under the name CSGL Lounge. Now,
Has to be karma.
yeah, but like, yeah, you could say that. And as soon as they, announce that they're going on their own, they're looking for a new home, pretty much. That's when they have their best tournament to date. So, and it's not about to end necessarily either. I think with the way they've been playing,
I mean,
they definitely have a
VP
chance.
and Navi, yeah.
Yeah, but they definitely have a chance versus VP. I mean, we've seen VP being everything from very solid to the complete opposite already in this tournament. So Dobry has probably been the one team that hasn't really shown too many weaknesses.
That is definitely true. I mean, they've really been living up to more than just their potential. They've pretty much reached a completely new level. So you're right. I mean, where's it going to end? I mean, they could potentially take a map. They could potentially win the series. You don't know at this point. I mean,
yeah. And well, speaking of the maps, I think that's going to be one of the really interesting things to see how it plays out. Obviously, it's domestic matchups. They might know things about each other that nobody else does.
And while VP is entering the scene, I don't really know if we're going to have time to get on the veto, because normally when they get into the boost, we go pretty much straight away.
Saying that, there is always that point where the players are being shown stuff. We can talk a bit about the maps, because we do know the map veto has already taken place thanks to the power of the internet, and we'll go through that a bit after VP get on to their points as well.
Yeah. There's a Pasha in the front, followed up by Ali, Snacks. Can't see who's in the back, but obviously, very known lineup, the longest lasting lineup in CSGO.
Taz in the middle. It's quite funny because Taz, the biggest guy on VP, is in the middle of them, whereas on the other side, Mihu, I think, was in the middle of CSGL.
Yeah, it's not like in the gym sessions back in the day in like 4th grade when you had to line up after
height. Yeah.
Mihu is an awesome guy, by the way. Funny thing, the first time I met Mihu was at the PGL 1v1, and I got the impression, because I had to do interviews with him, and we had a translator. And I just assumed then that meant he barely spoke English, which is not the case. He's completely fluent in English, very smart, very intelligent guy. And
completely fluent, I don't know.
No, I've had fully
I've had conversations with him as well. I mean, he's definitely able to speak.
I was like, Kate, you can barely speak English. So
yeah, dude, that's true. I mean, I have that really heavy Danish accent, and I mean, he could probably take over this job.
Yeah.
Probably.
And we don't really know what Stefan is saying, but obviously some interesting words to cheer on the crowd.
It's the Eurovision moment where we just listen to the foreign language.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
For Denmark.
And 12 points for... Oh, we're back. And we're back into the studio.
Well,
thank you very much.
Back a little.
I thought we would be looking at the players and looking at them set up and stuff, but let's get right into the map veto. We would usually have a graphic for that. We might have one now. Nonetheless, we can talk through it.
There we go.
And there we go. Who would like to start off?
Well, already the big thing is that Dust 2 is
Dust
in the map.
2, Dust 2,
Well, I mean,
Virtus.pro
it's a map
Dust 2.
they usually ban a lot, but they've also opted to play it every now and again, which
They've played it twice.
Usually it's big. Yeah, I know.
Nart, you made the specific joke earlier in the show. VP sometimes forget that they're not very good at Dust 2. And if there was ever a bad time for them to pick it, I think it might be now.
This could actually be something like what Casper was talking about earlier, where these teams might be practicing each other, and this could be basically the outcome of that, is that they played Overpass and gotten wrecked by Ex-CSGL on the map, and then feel like, all right, we should probably veto. But I think in this scenario, when you are the team to be expected to win, you are the one that has you are in the favorite spot. You don't want to take those kind of risks. So I think that's actually going to be a bit of leeway for Ex-CSGL to get had a slice at this one, because especially when it comes to train, it's definitely a map we obviously was very known for Virtus.pro's being that bread and butter map, but at the same time, it has to be said that Ex-CSGL, very, very good team on that map as well.
Yeah, I guess the reason why Train didn't get banned out is because obviously CSGO Lounge feel like that's one of their more comfortable maps. And VP, on their end, it's kind of, they taught more or less CSGO Lounge how to play train.
Yeah.
So they're probably not too afraid of playing CSGO Lounge on that map either.
And I mean, obviously, CSGO Launch removes Inferno. They don't really play that map. And
Well, yeah, they don't play it at all.
Yeah, VP, really good at it. So, I mean...
Yeah, that makes sense.
That part makes sense. Talking about the Dust 2 thing, I kind of feel like I know for a fact that that Dobry&Gaming is not really that good on Dust 2 either. It's not the best map, it's not the second best, it's not the third best. We're talking like 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th. So, I mean, I kind of also feel like I gotta support the point that Nacho's making that, I mean, as a favorite, you should just play it safe and play by the numbers. Simply just remove the things you're worst at and play to your own strengths and so on. But I also have an idea that this might be VP kind of baiting Dobry&Gaming into picking this map. Because, I mean, even though VP might not be the best team on Dust 2, that's against tier 1 teams, right? And Dobry&Gaming not really having that much success on Dust 2 either, and that's against tier 2 or 3. So
Sure, I just can't remember the last time that VP, whether it was a play on purpose to bait a team into picking Dust 2 or they outright just let it through for whatever reason. I can't remember the last time that worked. We'll have to see now if it does. Some interesting stats for the Na'Vi game that Dobry had. Dobry didn't get off to a good start. They only got 7 CT rounds and then managed to get 9 T rounds. I can't clarify how many of those were pistol rounds, but it just goes to show if their opponent isn't playing to the best of their ability, like Na'Vi was not, they can sneak Mirage potentially.
They're not over.
Yeah, the big thing for me has been how they've been showing that they dare to take the aim duels when they need to take them. And they are consistently hitting those shots they need to be doing. And they're playing off of each other, they're flashing for teammates, they're doing the small little things right that when you put those things together, bring in rounds. And when you win the right rounds, that will break the economy of your opponent, you're going to be applying pressure. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of small things going in favor of these younger Polish guys.
And that's definitely what we've been mentioning throughout all of these V2 sessions, is that since we have the double ban system, where each team removes 2, you're always gonna, unless you have a very, very tiny small map pool, you're still gonna be able to play like one of your better maps. So I mean, by no means are none of these teams out of it on any of these 3 maps. It's just going to be like who's the better team in the day. Obviously, we have to favor VP, but as we've been talking about throughout this tournament, Dobry&Gaming has been showing some kind of...
they've been showing signs.
Yeah, they've been showing signs.
Absolutely.
Showing signs.
Well,
like
I mean, obviously, for us, it's hard to tell because we have no insight of how their practice sessions go and how I guess the internal matchup has been with the 2 teams. But just judging from the map pool, I'm was slightly worried for VP, and it's mainly because I think there's a likelihood of Dobry being able to sneak in Mirage, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
And at that point, we could be looking at a 2R for Dobry, which would have been unheard of initially. And otherwise, I think we might go to 3 maps.
Yeah,
I just have no faith in VP on Dust 2. They've disappointed me too many times.
I think it's going to be hard to give a prediction before having seen, like, how people are playing within the game, you know, like obviously we can kind of analyze past results, we can analyze how they normally veto, etc. But at the end of the day, it is about how you play in that very game, right? And I mean, I kind of have to, I want to watch how the pressure has affected both of these kind of teams. Obviously, I don't even know who's the most pressured at this point. Obviously, Dobry&Gaming should somehow be able to play without pressure, but then again, they've also made it so far now at this point that you can't say that they can just bum out without giving a fight.
There's nothing to lose to them. For at the same time, for Virtus, a lot to be lost. I mean, they've had this tough period of time. Past 6 months, not really like okay. They seem to be quite consistently getting to the quarterfinals of tournaments, but then they just don't seem to have any dice against whoever they're facing there. At the same time, CSGO Lounge, I mean, it's they've been bombing out of tournaments left and right. So definitely they are in a very positive situation. Nothing to lose.
One of the keys to this match surely as well is the fact that even though it's double elimination, you don't want to drop into that. You really don't want to drop into that lower bracket because you're playing off against Na'Vi.
There's a shark waiting for you in lower bracket.
Exactly. This is the real actual knife round going on. By the way, we've got these fancy cinematic cameras picking up the action here. It looks like right now CSGL are far ahead of their opponents, and Bjarly, the final guy, is going to get shanked up in the corner.
Without saying it, theoretically, this could be the game about who ends third. I mean, loser should theoretically end third.
Yeah, no, it's a very high likelihood of it, at least. That's for sure.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, guys, Really enjoyed this segment. You guys have provided fantastic points, but we are done for now. We're going to head over to our wonderful casters for this game. Of course, it is Henry G and Sadakis. Guys, please do take it away.
I always do enjoy taking it away. Listen, the interesting thing about what Cadian says is that he therefore expects that Na'Vi is going to win between these two teams in the lower bracket.
I think that's a fair comment. Na'Vi looking to get better and better. They started off very slow, and now they're looking like they're not quite at Na'Vi levels, but they're getting there. They're kind of revitalizing themselves and resurrecting, I guess. So yeah, I think that's a fair comment. But anyway, the Polish derby, Matt.
Yes, absolutely.
Virtus.pro versus Ex-CSGL Lounge. I think this is going to be a really, really great game. The fact Dust2 is in here as well, I think that makes things very interesting. We're kicking things off with Mirage, then going to Dust2. Virtus.pro obviously not known to be very well averse on that map, but who knows what's going to go down here. You can hear it starting off here.
It's so loud.
It's good though, I like it. It's building the tension, it's building the hype. And here we go then. Ex-CSGL Lounge versus Virtus.pro. VP starting on the T side here. They've got 3 smoke grenades.
Yeah.
And 2 sets of armor.
Very execution-based, considering it's on Mirage. Normally we see a fast B play, all armor for the T sides even, but they are setting up for B. It's going to be smokes over. They want to cover off this catwalk position, isolate Mihu, and then try and break into the site. The unfortunate aspect is there's 2 already in there because they've got minis and they've got Innocent stacked in the back of the site. It's a rotation back through middle. Bomb's gone back to Palace. So that first smoke's a sail, second one's to cover off Vision. And they have to go, they're gone. And Spiro looking to try and catch this kill. Jumping Pasha, can't get the damage done. In fact, he's still reasonably well off at 40 HP, down to 16. Has to go to the knife because he's out of ammo. They're going to swarm around. Taz going to hold off the window. Bomb's been planted.
Yeah, it's a fast A split here. The bomb has been planted, you're absolutely right. 3 CTs coming in, though, from the spawn area. They've got 1 decoy to try and retake the site, but it's Taz and Bialy coming to life now. They're going to take Innocent and Mouse down. It's going to be 4-on-2 players remaining. And they're both isolated towards the spawn area. I'm not really sure what they can do here. Crossfires have come in. Neo finding the headshot on towards Maniz. And now Mihu, not many options, I'm afraid, doing what he can, but he will be taken down in the end. It's the fast A split working out for VP there, swarming towards that jungle area. We saw Spiro panicking with the reload of the P2000, got the knife out in the end, and couldn't get away. VP go up 1-0, and you would assume CT's buying up into this round.
Pretty nifty as well. They used one of the 3 smokes over on the B site, and usually where you don't buy that much utility, you see a smoke and you often think, all right, that's the one smoke they have on a pistol round. You rotate off it, and then they go back through middle. Snack's going to go out, peek up toward the window room. Does have the AK in hand, spot Spiro, but can't get a landed shot. Does do 7 through the edge of the wall as he fades back. Smoke's going to cover off the window as well, and Snacks will then through a Molotov toward Mihu. Won't push him back too far. He does have that Deagle in position to try and catch out from Catwalk.
Yeah, it's not the full investment from the counter-terrorists this time. No armor. They want to make sure they have that nice healthy buy going into third. A lot of lower teams will do that when going up against greater opposition. 5-4 though. We have seen the first kill, and that's from Pasha with the MAC-10. He's got himself in towards window room as well, using the smoke to extinguish a Molotov there, and he will be getting control of jungle as well. The rest of his teammates are towards that lower ramp area. Neo coming in towards Palace, but that's where Mouse is waiting for him. So I'd assume Neo will get that kill, and then the round should be over at that point. Oh, okay.
That's a good push though. Neo goes down. It's an UMP picked up from Malzino. Pasha threw his own Molotov down to cover off the vents, make sure no one could push through, and then put it out with the smoke so he could cross over himself because they thought they were going to execute quicker and he needed to be in position, but they have slowed it. Spiro going down though does account for 1 kill before the retake. Taz inside of the smoke. This is still a 3 versus 3. Thankfully, bomb's already planted. No kits or armor on this CT side.
Yeah, they've picked up a UMP. That's probably all they're going to get for this one, as Innocent does go down to the hands of Bialy as well. Maniz is going to join him in the grave. And now we just have Mouse. He was the player that pushed towards that Palace area. Still going to be there with the UMP, so the terrorists will be aware this is working out whether it's worth actually finding this frag or whether they'll allow Mouse to save the SMG going to the next one. So it looks like Bialy is going to be jumping up. Probably making a little bit of noise here as well, so Mouse just seeing if he can get the drop on him. That's giving his position away now as well. And it's going to be Bialy ripping through the unarmored head of Mouse there. Pretty clean round for Virtus.pro. 2-0 here on Mirage. Like we said, man, we didn't really get to finish the point. Dust2, it's very interesting that's coming to the map pool here. Last time we saw them play, what was DreamHack Leipzig early in the year? Very early in the year. And that was when they had a horror show on the map, and we weren't really sure. There was speculation as to whether they'd been practicing it. But for me, it looked like they didn't really understand the map as a whole. Their T-sides were abysmal, to say the least.
I think that's accurate. We'll see if they can get something rolling against Virtus.pro once the guns do come out. This time it's still just the pistols. He's at 75 for Malzino. 5-7 on Innocent, P250 on both Mihu and Spiro. And as we've gone through 4, we might as well include the 5th. Malzino sees at 75. It's going to be inside of the B that they go.
Yeah.
Molotovs both off on the van and below the window. Clear the angles, get bombed down quickly, and Snacks still holding onto a smoke for this post-plant situation. Is going to peek first with the AK to see if he can find an early pick.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. At least they're being methodical about it, making sure they're clearing out any sort of risk that be lying beneath them. Molotov into that van area and below the window as well. Two of the most common spots for stacked CTs. They get the bomb down here and it's clearing out the residual frags that are waiting for them. There's going to be one player waiting towards CD spawn. Mouse picks up a kill towards Snacks, but still a 4-on-3. There's no real point in chasing the CTs at this point. Might as well try and stay alive and exit as a group. But Pasha hunting for money here. That's the one benefit of these SMGs and finding the kills. A player has dropped out for Dobry&Gaming, so I assume we'll go into a pause next round. Technical, of course. But there it is, 3-0 on the T side for VP. Pause, of course, does come in. So far, so good. And there is just a crash in the game, so it won't take too long. That's like a 1-minute pause of that. And you can see the money now coming in for the CTs. I have enough for AWP. I think it may be glass cannon, seeing from what I saw on the money. I think everyone's about the 5K mark. But definitely better than what it could be, like Famus's M4s, no kits, no head armor, for example.
I think under these ominous outdoor lights, the crowd does look pretty cool, I have to say.
I think you're pretty cool.
You might be the only one these days, Henry.
These days.
It's come to the end. I've left myself just enough rope to hang myself with.
Well, I feel like you can get it back into it. You can get your former glory. Be the people's champion again.
We'll see.
All you need to do is have a big apology tweet.
But what?
Just say, I'm sorry, guys. We all know what for. And hashtag new sadochist.
No, hashtag old sadochist. Hashtag I don't care, I'm still not apologizing.
That will win them over, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That will probably get them. Well, like I said, guys, this is a best of 3. The winner goes on to the grand final. The loser will be facing Na'Vi. And like you said, Cadian suggested that whoever lost this game is automatically getting 3rd place here. Would you agree? I don't think we got your opinion.
I don't think I do agree. I'm not convinced by Na'Vi in this tournament. They've definitely built into it. They had a slow start.
They lost to Dobry&Gaming.
That's right. And they've been shaky on Mirage, in my opinion, compared to what we normally see. We know on Cobblestone they don't get much more than 5 rounds CT side, so if they go slow there at all, they can likely drop that map. They've been not that great on Train in this tournament. There's been a lot of issues, I think.
16-4 on Train.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of issues in their map
pool.
pool.
The thing is, Guardian has been very quiet all tournament, but in that last map versus Godsend, he was the one that actually got them back into it. It was like he came to life. It was like textbook Guardian, and he showed us what he really can do. So this has been the whole storyline for Na'Vi in the tournament. They've started off very slowly, but just about held on to stay alive, and it's looking like they're getting just about to 5th gear here. And I think it's obviously just in time, but technical issue here. Not major technical issues, minor technical issues. Some crowd members here. Embarrassed, of course.
I usually get embarrassed when I'm on camera.
You should be used to it by now.
Mostly because I'm sitting next to you.
Well, I'm afraid you've dug your own grave there, so you're kind of stuck with me.
I'll
Till
find
death
a way.
do us part.
I'll find a way.
Or we get really esports and we just quit.
It's not going to happen. They're stuck with us now, Henry.
Whether they like it or not.
In it to win it, much like Taz. He doesn't look overly amused by this delay, does he?
Well, they were just getting into the swing of things. 3-0, ready to go on that gun round, and now the hype level's depleting. But they're going to rise again, as they always do. We always seem to, when we have these big games back, I think we're the curse. Like, whenever we get going, we start getting involved in the game, we start saying, oh, well, maybe we should build the high levels. We get the pause.
Right,
and I think we're the problem. It happened to counterfeit almost every single time, remember? Like the big game would start, and then like
that's actually really true.
We were just like just about to get into it, and we're not.
Are you pause?
I really hope he comes back to esports, that guy, whatever his name was. But
he needs to. I wonder if he knows that he's a legend online.
He's probably oblivious. He comes on, he's like, well, I know it's hilarious, but I'm just going to embrace this, and he's just going to be at the next major. Imagine he comes out of ESL1 Cologne.
Jeez.
Just for one segment, just for like the semi-final.
Yeah. I doubt he even knows that he's a legend.
He can't be that oblivious, surely. He must know.
There's no way. He probably doesn't even know like what Reddit is.
True. He probably like never even thought about esports after.
Yeah, he just literally got hired because he does like Croatian wrestling matches. He's probably a legend in that scene. Like you can tell he has good stage presence. It just wasn't necessarily befitting to what we were doing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this delay's taking longer than I would have liked, I have to say.
Yes, I agree.
One PC crashing should be quite quick issue. Well, obviously, with the League of Legends finals before this, is swapping out the PCs. Maybe not everything gets completely checked out. We're trying to run a tight ship here. It's getting a little bit late, so maybe they're swapping out a PC just to make sure they eradicate this happening again. I'd rather that happen now than we have another pause, so that makes sense. VP being made out of the, what do you call those things? The
Thundersticks?
Thundersticks.
I don't know if they have a more technical name than that, but that's what I always refer to them as.
I think that works. Here's some highlights for you. Mac 10 kills, of course. We love those. 3 of them for Pasha.
I'm Mac 10.
Bardolph style. Bardolph needs his own Mac 10 skin, I think.
I agree. Maybe we should make one.
Kickstarter?
I've got some MS Paint skills.
Yeah, let's just do a Kickstarter for everything.
That's a bad idea.
The podcast,
the thing
skins.
is with Kickstarters, you actually have to prove that you've used the money somewhere relevant.
Well, people wouldn't trust us with the money.
Yeah, we can't just take the money.
We need $20,000 to go on holiday and make a podcast.
We promise when we come back, we will be much better at what we do. We'll be rested.
Yeah, that's actually quite a legit idea. Okay, we'll come back stronger and better than ever and better looking. We'll actually have a tan. We'll be worked out a little bit, put on some weight. Oh, I would put on some weight. You'd lose some weight.
Yep.
And we'll meet each other in the middle, and it would all be fine. So I think that's a worthy cause.
Okay, 20 grand, please. Probably only need about $200 for that for the gym, but 20 grand.
20 grand. To save.
Crowd's certainly behind Virtus.pro in this game.
That's interesting. Well, I guess they are the fan favorites in terms of, it's a Polish match. There's no Ukrainian teams here.
Yeah.
And everyone loves VP. Everyone loves Pasha, of course. So I guess it makes sense. But we are back into this one. No AWPs for the CTs. It's going to be 5 and 4. It's going for a utility-based game here. Snacks on the AWP. We've had discussions throughout this tournament as to who is the main AWPer for VP these days. It seems like Snacks takes the majority of the time, but still Pasha has a go, and Neo every now and then. It's definitely not Neo at the helm. And it's looking like a full AXQ here from VP in the first gun round. They obviously have Pasha on the Mac 10. They want him to go in like a bull in a china shop and see if he can find that first kill. But quite a defensive setup from the CTs here. You can see Mouse towards CT spawn, Innocent towards jungle, and Spirit is watching for the boost in window. He hasn't got the AWP. That's where he really comes to life. We'll see how this round goes down. Molotov's coming towards Shadow, and the smokes go over the top now. Here comes the execute, and will VP be committing to this?
Now Zeno's going to get forward behind the firebox, try and stay a little bit more passive in the angle, but he faces against Snacks. He does let his presence be known, and Snacks takes the shot into him quite quickly with the AWP. It's going to be Innocent back now toward jungle, behind smokes, behind Molotovs, behind everything.
This might be a save already. They've a man down, they're smoked out, no kits available. They need to be finding a kill the next 5 or 6 seconds just to even stand a chance here. You can see them thinking about it right now. Innocent coming in towards that connector area, hoping that someone will face. They're going to be smoking off towards Palace. It looks like they will be going for the retake, and here it comes.
Well, a good pickup from Mihu. Spiro's got one as well. You said they had to find a kill fast. They found a multiple amount of kills. In fact, it's just one player remaining. It's Bialy. Inside of smoke, though, does close out on one. No kit. All he has to do is play behind the smoke and buy time, and he doesn't know where he is, and Bialy clutches it.
Admirable attempt there, but like he said, Bialy coming up trumps, is using the smoke to his advantage. Wasn't sure the 4 defuse was coming in for the CTs. You would assume so, considering the situation, but they decided to stick together, swarm the terrorists waiting towards that lower ramp, and they do find all but 1 kill. So definitely worth the effort. Could have gone either way, but it's the terrorists coming out on top, and that's going to be a big round for him to win. That puts Dobry&Gaming onto an eco here. Have invested in some Deagles and 5.7s, that's about it. Looks like a 5-0. Could be very likely here. Fast round coming in from VP, sticking together, making their way towards short, and not going to be stopping for anyone. Taking now Mihu on their path, and they will be committing towards the site now. Mini's waiting there, and the rotations do start to come in as well.
Good positioning, though, inside of the site. Miniz is able to pick up 1 kill, but he's got problems. He's got 3 problems. All in the form of Virtus.pro players occupying Catwalk. They still haven't found the kill onto him, though, and it's very low HP. He might do this, you know, Spiro, he's come over to help out, and together they combine for the damage onto Pasha. It's Neo to get Miniz back, but still this is a 2-on-2 situation with, despite the weaponry not favoring them.
Molotov's going to work.
The HP is exactly that. Molotov's going to drop the bomb. And Snacks with the AWP needs to find an opening, misses that first shot, does get the jump back over and out of the damage's way. It's going to be down to 32 HP. Flash in. Malzino can't peek on that immediately, but he is stuck to the corner. He is committed to this, and they are up close.
Oh!
Misses the shot, and Spiro's got it.
This is why I don't like those very fast all-in tactics on the anti-ecos. They know they're up against a low low buy-in for the CTs there. They're rushing up towards short, and they find a crossfire. The CTs coming out on top with those 5-7s. We explained this, I think, about 5 or 6 times in this tournament. If you just go into a depot and then group up, you can work out whether there's a stack towards a certain bomb site. Obviously, when it works out, it looks great. VP got the first kill there. They could have actually won that round quite easily, but it's going to be Dobry&Gaming bouncing back here, and now they get the double orb set up. Mirage and Spiro, like I said, Spiro has been fantastic this entire tournament. One of the players that's really had a breakout performance here. But unfortunately, his teammate, Mirage, he's the other AWP. He drops to the hands of Neo, and now it looks like they will be going towards that B site. Mihu to defend.
Mihu's trying to get the shot through the window, but Spiro's arrived. He's got it instead. It's Tech 9 for Snacks. He's the only one without a gun. Jumps up, tries to get a read over toward the doorway, and Spiro knew he was in behind the van, so he's able to hold it. Keep an eye on this A site, though, because that's where the bomb is really going. They have forced the full rotation. Mozin's going to go back toward CT with Pasha lurking in window. He's already gone by him, and they don't have much information as to exactly where he is.
Well, they don't have to rush the situation.
That's fine.
Yeah, so they're going to smoke off towards CD spawn. They know that Mouse's only role option here is to boost up. I'm not really sure why they're not even thinking about this. He gets a free kill. It takes down Taz. And now this makes things interesting. Spiro rotating off towards short.
I dropped the bomb temporarily as well, so they had to go back across the site to grab that. It's brought Spiro a lot closer to the action. Remember, he has an AWP. There's a Molotov to throw out. They're going to put it on CT, not jungle, which means Spiro can actually still peek on this. So when they cross over, there's an AWP to confront, but he misses the shot. Now they've got a chance. One to hold the angle, one to plant, but BLE has to fight for himself. Now that CT is clear, they know Spiro's already inside of that jungle position. He tries to face it rather than plant. That doesn't work.
I told you, as soon as Spiro gets the orb, that's when things become problematic for Virtus.pro. He picks up 3 kills that round and wins the 1-versus-1. There was an actual huge advantage there for VP. Like I said, I thought they're slowing things down, they're smoking it off. And I said, as soon as that smoke goes down, I thought, well, they'll wait for the CT reaction here. Obviously, most players will jump up to the ticket booth and see if they can spot anything. And they just were oblivious to it. They just allowed Zero to find that first kill, and that dropped the bomb, and then it allowed the rotations to come in from the CTs as well. And ultimately, lost it for them, a huge advantage. That would have been a full reset for the CTs there, potentially a double eco, but now they'll be on an eco themselves. Just PT50s and Glocks here. Taz has a Tech 9, no grenades purchased, and they'll be making their way up towards middle. Innocent to get the first bit of confrontation, but it's Spiro to get the first frag, and he gets a double and drops the bomb as well. Round over. Bialy and Pasha trying to get something out of this.
Pasha, good shot. Mihu trying to get information back toward that window. Bomb still down inside of middle. Maniz may spot this as he goes looking for where Pasha's gone. I'm not 100% sure he did see it. He's going to rotate back around a horseshoe either way. Alley waiting to... Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Right around the ring. Crowd loves it. They can't figure out why. Bialy spots him, but he fires early. He could have walked out behind him. He's solo in HP. He almost should have executed trigger discipline. Still wants to get this quick shot onto Spiro. And now it's awkward because he's completely surrounded.
Okay, then. Still something to work here for VP. But definitely detected at this point. Bombing towards the connect area. And you can see Maniz, he should be the one finishing things off. It's going to come down to the timing. Will he be checking towards middle? There it is. Takes him down, and that's going to be the round over. So a little bit of interesting there as they pick up 2 kills with those pistols, but ultimately it's going to be CSGO Lounge, Ex-CSGO Lounge, picking up the round. And this is the play from Mouse. This is the one that really kind of interested me. The fact that VP just didn't even think this would be a problem for them after that smoke went down. They were so certain the smoke was going to protect him, and his Mouse it actually comes out on top and brings it into their favour. But there we go then, round number 8. No warps for Virtus.pro so far, just going to be on towards those AK-47s. 4 smokes, a Molotov and a couple of flashbangs. Default for now. There are more players focused towards the A side of the map here. Bomb rotating in as well. Snack's going to be leading the charge. He could walk through the smoke if he wanted to, but we'll see how they decide to go here. So that's set up once again. All button towards the top of middle. Mihu looking down towards underpass. Shots being fired off through the smoke from Innocent. Doesn't land any damage just yet, but he does see the retaliation shots, and this Spiro once more opening things up, taking down Pasha.
Snacks. AK in hand. Try and wait this out a little bit longer as well. Throw the Molotov out in front of that smoke. They won't be able to push back through it. And Malzino, though, is still in perfect vision. He gets one. That gives Neo the information on entry. Crosses the balcony. Thankfully, not a second player towards CT. That gives him the entrance into the site. He still has the smoke to work with as well. And he's going to get forward, but Spiro's staring him down. He didn't see him through the smoke, and Spiro gets an easy lineup. gap in this as well gives him a bit more of a chance to try and find Bialy. Does he spot him in his periphery? He does, certainly so, because bomb's dropped. Taz now in the open, no man's land. It's Dobry&Gaming to pick up another round.
4 in a row as well. They're looking very strong right now. As soon as they got the orbs out, that's when they've really been doing some serious work here, and they're actually looking like the stronger team here in the gun rounds. We'll see whether VP can bounce back. No bomb planted there, so the money might not be in an ideal situation, but they are getting to almost the full loss bonus after this round, so I assume a partial buy into this one. Yeah, there it is. So just some pistols and deagles, not actually any armor at all, so hoping that $3,400 will be able to help them out as they go into round number 10. But this time they'll be focusing the bomb towards Palace. They have got 2 smokes here, so presumably just going to be trying to get the bomb down at all costs. And that's the main objective. Probably realise they won't have a chance of winning the round. He's firing some shots towards the B apartments. Let's do some reasonable damage towards Snacks and Taz there. Just holding them at bay at this point.
Pasha's going to wait with this angle as well, try and get that pistol. That one shot, double peek. Deagle shot didn't even land on him, and it was close, but they've got up close. He knows it. He's overwhelmed. The flash comes out. Everyone's blind. He's going to get through the window. Thankfully so, and because Spiro's there, he's able to take down Pasha. And they'll get away with that. Mauzino's lost in the process, but more importantly, they still have the man advantage, and they haven't given up the B site. Advancement from Bialy. You thought maybe with them far forward, they could try and rush the bomb into A, but a good pickup by Spiro. That's going to give it back to them. Nice shot by Neo, though.
Yeah, like I said, the objective here is just to plant the bomb, and that's going to be dropped in no man's land. Terrorists won't be able to do much with this now. Snacks all the way in towards T-spawn now. And you have to say, Spiro firing on all cylinders right now, Matt. He's going to be pivotal in this game. And this is what makes things interesting, because VP, obviously, we said, they don't really have a defined AWPer. It's just like whoever's just the flavor of the month, like who fancies it. Sometimes it's Snacks, sometimes it's Pasha, and it was Neo for a very long time, but at the moment it's Snacks, and whether he'll be able to lock down Spiro is yet to be seen. I'd say Spiro is probably the best AWPer in Poland right now. And
yeah,
Snacks doing what he can. It's a 2-on-1 situation as he finds a drop towards the player top and middle. Picks up an M4, but he's only got 8 seconds. He's trying to save this weapon at this point. Should be fine. The rest of his teammates, he needs to be careful though. He might not drop him yet. Wait for the time to go down. There it is.
Yes,
very smart.
Very, very smart.
Good awareness there. Just you can see if you're not aware, you do die after the timer. Without the bomb planted, you go into the next round of 0 cash. So Snacks was going to get $3,400 going into this round. He actually gets 0 now. So that's actually a huge impact. And he's the AWPer as well. So that could be very beneficial.
Back on some of Spiro's shots, tying the plant against Bialy. Interesting to note, Jude, just a smart little marketing tactic. They have the names on the front of the jerseys for Virtus.pro as well, which helps us when we go to them on camera.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cool point. But there it is. Snacks, not opening a course. He's giving it to Neo. Now they're going to swapping around. He said, "Man, Neo, you forgot I'm the AWPer." And swap the weapons over.
But I had the blue pill.
No, that was last month.
Oh, he's not on birth control anymore. That's awkward. Innocent does take Bialy back. Despite him getting the opening frag, it's Neo, though, that's going to come around toward A main, and Innocent was peeking out on this, trying to get that position back. There is an M4 drop there. Not that it matters, but it does give away a little bit of information when he tries to peek out that there's an aggressive push toward A main. Nothing that they can do to exploit it, though, and he's actually going to go back for more and takes down Neo on the repeak. If they had that information and already had mid-control contained, they could have been able to walk through connector and try and execute, catch them off guard slightly by that, but it doesn't work out. Now Spiro's going to try and get a better shot toward mid. It's too easy.
Absolutely. Pasha getting blind and then just running out in the open as well. It's going to be a 4-on-2. The last 2 remaining terrorists going towards the B apartments. They have got the open towards Snacks, but it'd be an absolute blunder at this point for DG to throw this round away. It's going to be Maniz. This is a great position for him. Not giving any sort of picks available until the terrorists are fully committed to actually the bomb site at this point. Giving their positions away now. Molotovs and flashbangs come in, and here comes the play.
And he's just waiting, though. Get the damage done. Had to go to the site. Just sits there at bench. No time to check.
This map is so important for VP. If this goes to Dust 2, they're done for. This could be a 2-0. They need to be very careful and need to start waking up.
And that would mean that we don't get a VP Navi final, which a lot of people would have expected looking at the teams list there, the tier 1 teams in this tournament. It would mean CSGO Lounge go, Ex-CSGO Lounge, Dobry&Gaming go straight through to the grand final tomorrow evening. Flash over, Mauzino going to be caught, but it doesn't really matter. Nothing to come out of that other than a little bit of utility spent. Trying to catch the player crossing to connector more than anything and potentially get in a position to pick him off. Want to again, no one there from the T side.
It's another difficult buy here for Virtus.pro. Khalil, Tech 9 on Neo. They are forcing pretty much every round now with that maximum loss bonus. 6 rounds in a row now. They're going to be contact play through B. Mouse picks up the first kill. Maniz is baiting them in for me, who should get the double here. Only gets one, and it's going to be a bloodbath though. VP just dropping like flies here towards the B side. Tad remains, and Maniz to find the final kill, but he can't do it. This will allow the plant to go down, and this will obviously boost it, but I think he should have just taken the plant at that point. He's going to be dropped now by Mouse. Once again, only getting $3,400 into the next.
7 rounds.
He just needed the plant at that point. I mean, they would have had a much healthier buy. They'd have had AKs across the board, but now they're going to be an eco. They're going to just take the partial buy. So Taz in the 3-on-1. I think he just needed to take the more conservative approach, but he wanted the glory map. Sometimes it's a little bit too tempting. Double orb set up now. And this is 7 rounds in a row, as you said. It's a fast A attack coming in from Virtus.pro.
Yeah, I've got decent smokes out. 2 inside of the site directly. Malzino can sit in this corner. They'll play it off Maniz, who picks up 2, and now Mouse peeks, takes down Taz. Innocent's going to get Pasha. Straightforward. No plant again. 8-4. They will get a buy this time regardless.
Right, we do have a full buy for VP this time. Snacks on the orb. They will have 4 AKs, full utility, and a chance to execute. They just need to run a default here. Use the smokes effectively. Smoke off towards connector, get a player inside that. Smoke off towards when they get someone ladder run. That's the default. That's what every terror team should be aiming for. Then you can go into execution once you've taken that vision away from the CT. So far, they're actually getting locked down across the board. I would say at this point, CTs would benefit from just going aggressive and trying to work and lock down the adjusting terrorists at this point. We'll see what they decide to do. Double orb setup does make that a little bit more tricky. It's actually Mouse now. He's actually in CT spawn without the orb. That's an interesting setup, but I assume they're trying to focus their efforts towards middle, and that's actually where both orbs are right now.
Malzino trying to spray in toward that smoke that's deployed from the CT side. Default strategy. No aggression this time, so they just want to contain that choke point. Double up set up again. Spiro Maniz, and Innocent's going to take his turn firing into it. Bihali's AK carried over. They are setting again for this A take.
Yeah, it's all they seem to have, I'm afraid.
Seems odd that they're lacking in execution, VP, especially a team this experienced, longest active 5-man roster in CSGO right now. And you'd think with that much time on so many maps, they'd have an execution base. There is a player at Sandwich as well. We have to keep that in mind because the smokes are set to go beyond that. They have to cross that point. So it's a one and done often position, but if they do overlook it, you have a chance to really punish them, and it's Innocent that's in the driver's seat, as well as the reverse firebox play from Malzino. He's been playing that quite a bit. It looks like they're going to get slowed considerably. Malzino goes early on his peak. That's going to distract them. Innocent just pops out. He takes the ball down, and it is going to be cleaned up by him in the end.
As soon as I saw it on the mini-map, you just knew that was going to work. It's one of those positions you chuck in every now and then when you're sensing the execute coming. And as long as you have a teammate on the bomb side taking the aggro away from you, that's how you set up those big spray downs there. 3 kills. And it's Mouse, he's the one doing all the work here, just baiting in for Innocent, and you can see the terrorists, there's tunnel vision at this point. They want to take him down, there's shouting, get the player on the start, and then we can get in, but there it is. It's another basic A attack from Virtus.pro. They're not going for that play at the start, the default, pushing the CTs back, making them adjust and questioning their setup. But unfortunately, they're going straight towards A, trying to do the standard A plays, and it's not really working in their favor whatsoever. Snack's not really doing too much with the AWP, and Spirit is dominating. He's going towards underpass, takes down Snacks, and this is another buy from VP. He gets the double. Fantastic work. Mihu's there as well. This round's over. Such strong play here from Dobry&Gaming.
Very strong indeed. Mihu takes down Pasha. This is going to be an impossible situation for Virtus.pro if they're not careful. If they can't get this closed out, make it 10-5, because it's already 10-4 now for Dobry after going 4-0 down, or 0-4 down, I guess, from that perspective. But
VP
really
looks
showing anything, yeah.
Stunned. They don't have a response for this. Just basic mix-up from the CTs here. They just check towards underpass, have a player pushing one short. They just have no response. They're pushing for their own smokes and looking disarray right now. Maniz chaining up his position. He goes towards Palace. And it's a fast play. Who's that? It's going to be Snacks going in by himself. What is this?
It doesn't make sense that they're trying to sell it. Now, he does have 4 players over A. If they hit B right now, there's a slight chance on this. That's the one saving grace in this, but they have to win the duel against Mihu. Smartly done. Now it's all about getting the bomb down fast and quick to allow a post-plant position, because they didn't take mid to split into B. So despite that Snacks went down,
it did kind of work out for them.
Yeah, and fate would have it. Spear's going to watch off toward the window. They do have the position behind the windows and door covered off. They've got a perfect crossfire set with Pasha. Flash through. They're able to avoid that. Pasha's taking a little bit of damage from a nade, but there's that cross set. Taz gets a kill. Neo does go down again. Oh, they found Pasha. It's Taz onto Maniz. Or rather, excuse me, onto Spiro. Maniz, the last alive. He's going to try and go for this inside of the smoke. They know he's there. They've got it lined up, but they're missing the shot. Okay, thankfully he did hit it. We snapped away. I wasn't 100% sure.
Well, there it is. VP with the Hail Mary play. Snags, you runs away. Just get in there by yourself. See if you can keep the CTs there. We'll make our way towards B. And luckily, they win that duel with Mihu. Had he found anything from that, could have been interesting and it could have been enough, but
they don't look pleased, do they?
Well, they win the pistol in the first gun round with a limited buy from the CT. As soon as they get that double orb set up, all bets are off. Spiro just completely wrecking them every single round. He's changing his position up. Maniz joins him as well, and that double orb set up, and there's just a wrecking crew there. It's just looking at VP, it seemed like they had no answer to it. They had no response, no way to adapt. They weren't just doing traditional CS. They should have taken a pause at that point when it was getting out of control when they had 10 rounds down and worked out how they could have actually approached that situation. For such a promising start as well to finish 10-5. They've got to be feeling the heat a little bit, but luckily they did get that pistol, and they're going to need the second one as well. They're going to continue this performance. This was the round that won in the first gun. It was a one-on-one situation with a limited CT buy, but here we go. We'll have a look at the purchases from Dobry&Gaming. 4 armor and 1 player on towards the smoke and flashbang and an HE. So we assume this will be very default plays. Actually quite a lot of aggression coming in for the CTs. Will be Neo pushing up towards middle. Spiro does spot them. He needs to be careful here. Neo's going to be going aggressive. Misses the shot though, so Spiro does manage to dive out of this one. Teammates coming in from underpass there, but Taz gets the first kill.
Shot out. Nice shot from Neo. Jumping up is going to bring this down to Mihu. As you know, remaining underneath of the shadow position. I was considering the fact that there might be someone pushing back around from CTs watching that ticket booth, but really there's no real point in them pushing because they have the bomb completely down. Mihu's going to try and rotate around. Mouse will come through connector. Neo's already at the top of middle, though. He'll spot the first player at Horseshoe. Neo's actually, just barely gets around the corner in time there. But he's going to be found regardless. Snacks has it. This is very secure at this point. Nade will get this kill. Neo was far too low on the first dink that came his way, but Snacks is there to close it out. Virtus.pro get the pistol, a very important one at that.
Yeah, pushing up towards middle, making Spiro redundant in that sense and facing towards the underpass. They win the duels, get the bomb down, and it's round over. We said that was a must-win pistol for VP, just considering what we saw in those gun rounds. They haven't really arrived so far. And they managed to pick it up, so that's great news. This is the kill from Neo. After they found those 2 picks, jumping, of course. Why not? And it's going to be the 4th spy from the terrorists. All 5 players going in with upgraded pistols and body armor as well. Maniz with the head armor. And this would be devastating for VP to drop this. Need to be very careful indeed. They only have 1 rifle. That's going to be Neo with the FAMAS. The rest of his teammates on the SMGs. It's UMP though, so still very powerful weapons. Mouse working towards that lower ramp area. He's by himself. The rest of his teammates will be towards B. Flashbang comes in, surely going to pick up this kill. It's perfectly timed and should be going in the CT's favor. Actually an equal trade as Bialy drops, and this could be problematic now.
Crossfire set just too easy. Neo 2 through the window, and Pasha peeks late to find down Innocent. Spear with a deagle, 1 versus 4, Taz on 52. Bialy gone, but Henry, even I'm not going to believe.
Well, that's saying something. Aestheticus doesn't believe.
Nah, I'm a skeptic now. I've gone to the dark side.
You're on my side?
Yes, for once. Let's not talk about it. Spiro's going to push down middle. Snacks should be able to wait for this. He will have his crosshair toward connector, but not actually at that position, so Snacks is able to take him quite easily. There you go. A little bit of a fist bump. They're getting back into it.
Yeah, well, when you win both pistols and get 3 zeros, that's gifting you 6 rounds, obviously. So does definitely boost your chances of winning the first map here. But that's the thing. I said it before. This goes to Dust too. I just do not feel like the VP will have what it takes to actually come triumphant on that one. But here we go. Should be a full eco now for the terrorists. You'd assume it'll just be Glocks and PT-50s, which it is. A little bit of aggression coming from Taz. He makes his way towards connector. And they can just hold up here, farm some cash with the SMGs. Have upgraded 1 player who was near to the M4. He was the only guy that dropped. And Pasha on the MP9. Innocent now smoked off. Snacks waiting from the other side of that smoke. Flashbang comes in. Ooh, I was going to say, was he going to push through? That'd be pretty chaotic, but just spray through with the UMP, finds Innocent. And that's pretty much all they need to do here.
Yep.
Don't need to commit too much.
Yeah, Maniz can't advance either onto that, so you're trying to get a follow-up with the Glock because the Molotov's out. Taz going to push up top of middle. Spots 1 great first shot, I have to say, considering it's a UMP from that range, but he can't follow it up. It's Mihu Gets the kill against him. Snacks is going to try and catch him again. Does actually manage it. Just down to Malzino.
Well, that's a pretty simple affair. All the CTs. Actually finds a final kill on towards Malzino, and after that force bite on the second, no plants really gathered for the terrorists, so they are going to be struggling in terms of AWP power going into this one, and that was a factor getting into that first half. Once they rolled out the AWP, and Spiro was just completely dominating. Let's see what the CDs decide to do. They will have leftover SMGs, and obviously the option is there to save them. It's called the bonus round, aka Jaden, and we'll see whether they decide to keep them. So yeah, they are going to keep a UMP. That's about it though. He's throwing away the MP9s. They're going for Patcher on the AWP, of course, mixing it up. And he will be playing towards the B apartments.
Smoke inside of the window.
This is what a default should look like.
Yeah, absolutely. This is far more. I mean, there's a clear objective here. They want middle. VP never really had a clear objective. They just wanted to get bombs down.
They held defensively, then just went to full execute. So they weren't really doing any of this, which is surprising. This is used to be one of their absolute textbook maps. But
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like we say, they've been a team for so long. You think you just kind of have those defaults figured out.
Oh well. Still, they're back into this. 10-8. I thought he was going to nail there. Doesn't get the drop, and there's going to be Snacks coming out aggressive. Flashbangs come over. They get the first kill on towards Mihu. Spiro replies though. Still a 4-on-4 and time to play with.
And Snacks down to 4 HP. They can't afford. They've actually got the lead as well as they catch Pasha. They couldn't afford to push down and catch out Mihu in that underpass. Or Innocent rather, but Mini's going to take back Snacks. Taz trying to rotate around. This is a bit of a problem. It's down to a 4 versus 2, and Go Lounge, although the bomb's way back toward Horseshoe, have the B site. It's going to be on the knees to try and hold this off until they rotate. Taz does get there just before Bialy, but Innocent is still in a position where he could wrap around and try and flank them out from the window. Good shot from Bialy. That gives them the re-entrance because the bomb's not yet there, but here it is. Innocent, well-timed, one shot already, and Taz has to commit. Malzino finds him.
Good round there from Dobry&Gaming, as we said, a good default. There was clear objectives there. They wanted to get it towards short, get that ladder room, and boost up towards window, and it was the CTs that actually made their move first. We said they kept a couple of lesser weapons there, a FAMAS and a UMP. They wanted to make them work there and actually surprise and get the drop on the terrorists. They flashed over, found the first kill, but overcommitted a little bit to that window area. Spiro capitalized with the AK, and the round crumbled around VP at that point. They still have enough for AWP now. It's going to be Snacks on having a go with it, as Pasha was the AWP last round. And they are limited here. You can see one kit. Pasha's on the Mag 7, but he's still very well versed in that weapon. He definitely can cause some chaos with it.
Innocent already in that underpass position again as well, and Taz can't commit to peeking it because they've got Mihu at the corner staring down connector. Not only that, they'll have a repeat potential from Spiro in behind the boxes. Taz knows exactly what that flash means and tries to fire into it before the peek comes, pre-fire the angle. Comes out pretty worse on that for Ware, not by much. 6 HP for him, it's only 26 for Innocent. And Taz is going to try and play sandwich and get this one and done position again.
Well, they have got some positional control now, as I said. Terrorists got control of short and ladder room as well. I think they've got a player making his way towards window as he's calling for defense. So this could be interesting for the CDs. He's now going to hold up to that jungle area and hold off any rotating CDs from B. And he could get the backstab here. They need to be very careful on the A side.
The alley can't transfer it over in time as Mihu does get the repeat. Now there's the low HP. They couldn't do anything with it. Taz did get one, but he's taken immediately after. It's Innocent, though, and Spiro that are left alive in this situation, and both low on HP, so Spiro is going to be hoping someone crawls through this vent, and Pasha's looking like he may. This is such a poor decision because it's just too easy. As Spiro waits for it, bomb goes down as well. Snacks does find Innocent, though. This gives them another chance to get back in. 2 HP, no kits.
Surely.
Baits this out correctly, you never know, but they know exactly where he is. Snacks. Ooh, they're second guessing it. Timing's everything, but does look back in time.
Simple kill for Snacks in the end, and Spiro just such low HP and no grenades to work with. It was a difficult prospect for him, but a decent round for Dobry nonetheless. He managed to get the bomb down there and did come down to a close situation, but his Snacks, as I said, designated open now on the CT side. It seems he gets 3 kills and brings the round into contention from VP. But you can see they will be in that position for the full reset here. Needs to be very careful going into the next round. They did manage to keep 2 players alive. So still a lot of danger potential as we go into round number 21. 11-9, 4 AKs and a Tech 9 on Mouse. And it's definitely worth the force buy here, like I said. If they do somehow manage to win this round, it'll be so beneficial for them going forward, but through the box! Mouse, he gets his head ripped off by Snacks. It looks like his teammates will be committing towards Palace area now.
Another shot from him as well onto Mihu. Spiro gets one back to Bialy. Meniz does try and make it a contest, but that contest is closed. Snacks with 4 kills in the round. None better than that first shot through the box to start it off.
I want to see a replay of that. Did he give away his position for a grenade, or did he just take the pot shot and hope for the best? That was pretty impressive from Snacks. Another 3 kills from that round. And
oh, the nade did come in, and the flash went out. So he may have seen the flash nade trajectory. If he's that clever, would have been able to spot back that direction as well.
Well then, VP now definitely close to tying things up. There's going to be a full eco here for the terrorists as they hold out towards middle. Snacks just patrolling that area with the orb once again, and Pash is still on this mag 7, looking to farm some cash. It could be the perfect round to do it. As he's holding up beneath those beer palmers, Beneath just walking in. He doesn't know what he's coming towards.
They have 2 directly inside of this B site this time. Snacks is going to start off by taking down Mihu. Taz goes low. Pasha, he takes a dink as well. He's on 4. They're still finding the kills. That's the important part. Mazino may get Pasha still just jumping up, but Neo's got him collected. It's on to Spiro once more. 1 versus 4. Just a P250 to work with. Does make good work of it, though. He takes down Snacks. The alley's there, though. Close it out. 11-11, Henry.
Tying things up. Who would have thought? After such a dominating performance from Dobry&Gaming in the gun rounds, at least in the first half. Virtus.pro, after a 10-5 defeat, have pulled it back in. Only 1 round gathered for CSGL so far. And we go into round number 23. No AWP on Spiro once again. That is a problem. Just going to have the AKs in utility. They have been running the default so far, but aggressive play from Snacks and finding multiple AWP frags has definitely kept them alive here. It's going to be Pasha joining him in the AWP this time. He did fail last chance he had at this position. We'll see what he decides to do, going a little bit more aggressive here. This is what most AWPers will do, try and hold that tight angle. There it is. And Womanese going for the face here.
Pasha waiting. X-ray's misleading, isn't it? It looked like he was actually going to go for the peak, but he's further back inside of the hallway. Instead, he's going to play from the top of the stairs and try and counter off the push. If VP elect to do one, they have got aggressive in toward the kitchen, but it doesn't look like Neo's going to go much beyond that. Problem with that is they're both going to play from the apartment. That's the pick they need. I was about to say they have to get Meniz, because if they're going to hold that position against Mihu coming in from Catwalk, then they need some ground to stand on, and they need to do it comfortably, and that's why, because Pasha can walk back out, get 2 kills. Innocent gets him down in the end, but Neo's all over him. They had no idea that Neo was pushed up here either. They never saw him after Pasha got that kill on Meniz.
I think he probably heard in that position as well. So Neo's giving the call to his teammates. He's going to be taking him down as well. So there it is, Virtus.pro taking the lead for the first time in a very long time. It'll be 12-11, and the money's not going to be fantastic here for the terrorists. Once again, not getting the bomb down. Got to be having that maximum loss bonus, so you could probably justify a partial buy, or they could force with Galils and AKs. I think they need to get that AWP out once again. They need to be running that default with the AWP and actually have that pick potential. They're getting ripped apart now by the Snacks and Pasha combo. Pasha to open up that first kill onto Meniz in the B apartment, so here we go. Yeah, just taking the pistol buy and allowing VP to get a little bit closer to map point, but this is for the greater good. They know they're getting positional control of the map. They just need the firepower to actually capitalize on it.
1 round only for Go Lounge on this terrorist campaign. As we are in the 24th round, it's now 12-11 for Virtus.pro. Molotov's going to go off onto A main. This will delay the execute slightly, but it's not even really an execute. There's no utility. They're just going to barge in right now and try and brawl their way to the site. That's not going to work. Taz already has 1, make it 2. Potentially 3. Bialy's going to beat him to it, but he's still looking for 1 inside of Palace. There's the hat trick. And that's all he'll get for it, but Snacks is there. Straightforward, really, from Virtus.pro. They had a good setup for that. They had 3 players inside of the A site. No entrance, no crossing over, no bomb plant, more importantly.
Well, that was a throwaway round regardless. There wasn't really much they could do. As you said, no grenades, just brawling their way onto the bomb site there. Couldn't do much with it. The Orbs is locking them down once again. That's been a big storyline in this second half. But finally, they do get Spirit back on the AWP. So they need to do more of the same. It hasn't been the approach to the round. Like I said, it's getting ripped apart by the Orbers on the retakes, or whether they're trying to take that first phase. Now they have Spirit who can actually take those battles for them once they have the map control. But it's VP mixing things up. It's a very good time to do it as well. I like this. Bialy looking for that first kill towards Mihu, but he loses the duel. 5-on-4 now in favor of the terrorists. And they have the open Spirit. That's what I'm saying is the big factor here. We're going to have to Snacks and Pasha to hold him off. The terrorists could bought themselves some time and see if there is a reaction from the CTs.
Oh, with the AWP inside of A main, looking for Taz, walks into it as he checks Sandwich because they didn't actually have any information inside of the A site. Spiro's picked up that kill. Mihu gets the other one inside of A. It has to be the rotation with a man down from Virtus.pro. Pash is going to go toward connector. Bomb's not there yet. That's the one thing they can try and rely on here. They've got one smoke left, and it's in Maniz. Now, where does he like to put it? Is it going to be CT? And it was. So this leaves the shot open for Pasha, which is a big problem. Spray through. Bomb's been planted. Pasha finds Spiro. Jumping up though, Mouse does catch Neo back. It's going to be just one player, Pasha, to try and close this out. 7 HP only for Mauzino. Maniz is waiting for him to cross as well. Has to go through that smoke just to get that far. Thankfully, it's dissipated. Nearly hits the shot through the block. Pasha can't. Oh! Does on the second try. Now he's given himself an opportunity. He still has the kit, and he's expecting and anticipating it's out toward A main. But he's jumped up on top of the box at Tetris. Pasha, is he just going to overcommit? Is he going to rush into this smoke and try and get the defuse? Oh my God, this blast catches it, and Pasha's pulled it off.
What a play by Pasha. 2-on-1, it looked impossible, but the shot through the box gave an opportunity. Baits out the terrorists in the smoke, the flashbang lands, and there it is, the final shot comes in. Pasha with a 2 versus 1, just when it looked like Dobry&Gaming had got themselves back into the second half. It falls apart at the very last moment. 14-11. They get a plant down here, and it's maximum loss bonus, so they can buy again, but that's going to be devastating to their morale. They did everything right there. It's a 4-on-2, Matt.
That shot.
You just knew he was going to hit it, though, didn't you? You could just feel it coming. And the flashbang, that's what did it. He did the smoke on the bomb, but the flashbang was so perfect. There it is. Snacks coming back into round number 26. He finds a kill on towards Mihu. This is looking very promising now for Virtus.pro. And you can see Spirit taking a ton of damage as well. That's going to knock his confidence, trying to find those picks. Now VP can sit back and wait for the terrorists to react to this stage.
Pasha continuing on that form is going to take down Maniz. Spray both directions looks a little bit awkward, but Bialy does win the duel despite going on to 16 HP, and the rest of them are flawless. They'll take the round, and this is looking like it's just a swamp in which they cannot swim from. Dobry&Gaming, 1 round only again on this T side so far.
Only going to get $3,400. No plan once more. They'll be on Galils, pistols, maybe 1 AK. Lack of utility. If they want to have smokes to actually execute, they need to go heavy pistols here. We'll see where they decide to go when we get back in game. Okay, so no utility, just straight up AKs. That's an interesting decision. There's going to be rushing B as well. The Hail Mary play map. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
The one flash they did throw, though, does dislodge Pasha's positioning, so there's a chance to get toward the site, but they still can't get by Pasha. He's rolling. He's got 3. Can't turn back fast enough to find Maniz, but Pasha is on level, on form. Innocent sprayed this stack down. It is him versus 2. Map point, Virtus.pro, bomb down inside of the site. Innocent 20 HP. He's going to face Bialy's going to close it. Pasha, to me, has the impact required, and they have this first map done, dusted, delivered, and you said the one they need because this goes to Dust 2 next.
Which is a very interesting prospect indeed. Dust 2, a map VP famously don't play. They've experimented with it, but they're a team that boot camps a lot. Maybe they've had this up their sleeve for a while, who knows, but you've got to feel bad for Dobry&Gaming their map. After such an amazing comeback in the first half, after going 4-0 down, they closed it out 10-5. Losing both pistols was so detrimental to them. Had they won just one pistol, it could have been enough to take them in that first map, but it's VP bouncing back. Poor performance on the CT side, but you can't argue with the results of that double orb. Once Snacks and Pasha got rolling, it's Pasha to finish things off with the B-Rush. Locks them down. Stellar play from him, and that 2 versus 1 as well. Great play.
Great to see Pasha back on that level because it's been a long time since we've seen his AWP really roll. They actually took it from him. They put him back on the rifle. Remember, this was a guy that was rated in the top 20 in 2013, 2014, 2015. He wasn't really in there. It's great because there's also been a lot of talk about if you were to remove, who would you remove? And he's the fan favorite by a long shot, but a lot of analysts and pundits would point the finger at him just due to impact. Well, not this game.
Yeah, just when they needed him.
And a former teammate there, Lord, who's coaching the Dobry&Gaming side. He's played with all the guys on Virtus.pro quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like they were the better team. That sounds weird, but just the way they were actually playing the first half and that's the reactions they were doing, and it seemed like, okay, they lost the pistol. Once they get the AWP out on the second half, that will be it. They'll be able to bounce back from this, but it never really happened. Their economy was spiraling out of control. A lot of force buys, meaning the first gun round was just AKs, and then didn't really actually happen for them. It's a little bit disappointing, but I have to say I'm very impressed with the comeback and the mental fortitude of VP just to stay alive and whatnot. They looked completely dejected after the first half. I didn't really think that was going to be a performance that could win them a map.
Yeah, I mean, that was the hard thing. We said they looked so lost. The default was actually better from Dobry as well. You pointed that out, that there was just no plan from Virtus.pro. No, exactly that. And they just run into the sites. Yeah, Dobry didn't have the firepower, exactly, because they did try and get map control. We saw them try and get middle a number of times. A lot to be said, I think. It was definitely a tale of two halves, in both of them being CT-sided. We'll go to the analyst desk after our short little break. They'll talk it over, and we'll get ready for map number 2, Dust 2. Remember, that's going to be a challenge for Virtus.pro. We'll be right back.
VP weathered the storm of the T side and they got the 5 that they needed. And then when it came to the CT side, they just took the map and won it. Cadian, what did you think?
Bruv, what do I think?
What's the thought process
Why
here?
UK slang? You don't need to say. I'm not saying bruv at the desk. You don't need to say it, Cadian.
I gotta keep that swag and secrecy, you know. Anyways. Basically, when it is really debatable. to the serious part now. We saw the pistol round going in favor of VP. We saw the first weapon round going in favor of VP, where it was an after plan situation on A. Dobry&Gaming potentially could have won it. Was in a 2-on-1 situation, and I think it was by Ali clutching it. Doesn't really matter who it was, but at that point I thought, okay, it's one of those classic underdog versus favorite domestic matchups where the favorites always go ahead and win the clutch situations, they win the close rounds, etc. But then all of a sudden, Sparrow had an AWP, they started stringing a lot of rounds together and managed to get a 10-5 half after being down 4-0. So really impressive. It just seemed like they had a pretty decent read on VP, and obviously they were all hitting shots and connecting to these kind of multi-kill situations. So overall, really good play by them on that half, and we see some highlights.
Yeah, we're starting off with some highlights. Pasha here just getting
with the Mac 10.
Padding his score with the Mac 10.
Mac Daddy.
Leading out the side of the car, running by the opponents. Tat-tat.
And this is the clutch you were talking about.
Yeah, big plays from Bialy there for sure. It was you could tell from the early on, definitely a game plan for Virtus.pro. He's trying to play super simplistic, try to apply the early pressure, try to cut off guard the defense with the pop flash, running into the bomb site, like sort of that kind of play style while they're just trying to ram into the bomb site. But obviously, kudos to Sphero, for example, for magnificent work on the CT side, because they were not getting surprised at all. I mean, they were really playing calmly, taking the situations, thinking them through. There was no hasty decision being made on the CT side. It all looked pretty for them, to be honest with you. I thought, they might be running away with this. And then, considering the fact that we're going to be running into Dust 2, after this, it looked really good after the first half, but obviously... And the second half, it started off with Neo with a casual jumping USB kill in middle.
Here it is.
There we go. And set the tone for the whole half, where it seems like Ex-CSGL were just not in it all too much. And the opportunities they had when they finally managed to get the bomb plant and get the bomb site, it was always one of the Virtus.pro players coming.
What do you feel like they lacked?
What should they have had in the arsenal to kind of string some rounds together in this kind of T-half?
Come again?
What do you think they lacked? Did they need more executes? Was it the defaults not working?
You can tell from that highlight clip you had right there. Obviously, like when you're going up against an op, especially Snacks, he was definitely feeling it when he got that up in his end, similar to what Sparrow did for Dobry on their CT side. You need to actually use your utilities to get forward on the map and get some forward positioning.
Yeah, I mean...
And they didn't really do that a lot of the time. And when they did, you could see actually that, Virtus.pro didn't really respect that. You saw them pretty much pushing through it.
Yeah, I wanted to see more of trying to get into the window and applying the kind of a sandwich effect towards the jungle window area.
Look at that.
Splitting that A site through window and connector to make it claustrophobic for the CTs.
What we can see on screen is that the AWP stats were relatively... even. Snacks even actually only got a couple less kills, but his team still pulled through. And then Sparrow overall got more kills, and even on the AWP, he managed to get 2 more kills than Snacks. So relatively even in terms of those AWP stats. I'm not really sure how Pasha did. We'll get the stats for the best players overall, kill-wise on the map. He actually only got 20 kills, but he did have some very important rounds, like we saw in that highlight reel there. That 2v1 when it was 11-13, was it? Or was it 11-14, 12-14? At the end of the game, it was very important for him to clutch up there with the AWP 2v1. He got that amazing wallbang through the boxes 11-13.
No. But anyways, just like to take something away from these kind of stats, I mean, Sparrow has been having a quite impressive event, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of this, you talked about it. We never really know what's going to happen until we actually get into the game. And we were talking about how Sparrow and Innocent so far had had a really good tournament for Dobry. Spiro followed that up with an excellent performance. Innocent went pretty much AWOL during that match. He did not have a really good time, neither on the A-bomb site, just being the initial defender, barring a couple of rounds where he pushed aggressively, which I liked. I liked the fact that CSGL Lunch or Dobry tried to actually get in the face of VP and disrupt things. But outside of that, he did not have a great game at all. And I think they're going to need everyone to be on their game if they're going to beat VP, especially now with the first map gone. And this could have been one of the ones they could have stolen away. I think training is going to be harder to take away from VP than
well,
this.
I mean, we've still got D2 coming up next.
Yeah, if it even goes to train, obviously.
If it goes to train, then we'll have to see what happens there. What holes could be patched on the side of Dobry with regards to their T side on Mirage, at least with regards to this game?
I mean, it's just a matter of basically gaining that. We keep talking about the map control, but it's a lot about, especially when you're playing up against an opper that is hot. It's kind of sounds weird, but you have to be able to apply pressure to that guy, make him uncomfortable, because if he's going to have a lot of sights to take shots through, then it's going to be just easy pickings for him.
Move him away from the prime positions, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that how you do that is basically you smoke off the spots, take over that middle. You try to get one into the window maybe. Then you have a set execute at that point. How do we go through a connector? How do we have one in window? You can have a set play in that sense.
Yeah, and actually with that, because you will see a couple of times where Virtus.pro actually give up mid control completely. Yeah. And for Dobry at that point, they actually need to have a clear idea, because some teams do play that way, or they do have certain setups that do give up mid control. Dobry needs to have a certain idea or a clear idea of what they want to do when they're actually given the space that they're normally used to fight for. Because it's pretty much being like in a fight. Well, you're in a 5v5 situation where you have all the space to work around with, and they tried to do in B execute, but they weren't expecting the double aggression coming in from VP and B apps. But you need to see, or you want to see them having a clear idea of what they want to do in terms of like setting up for a proper execute from that scenario as well.
Let's continue on to Stats Helix. You've got a round, I think, that you'd like to highlight and talk. 6 rounds.
Yeah, round 6.
Round 6. Yeah, I was like, that's too much, Casper. We're going to have to rein you in a bit. 1 round at least. One round.
Yeah,
round
well,
6.
We talked about VP getting this 4 lead, and then finally they string around together CSGO Lounge, and this is the round where if you really want to manifest yourself in this half, you need to be able to take the following up round, not to break your own economy, and also to put VP in an eco situation. And VP actually wants to throw this kind of fake situation. You see some guys approaching the B bump side, while we actually see the bump running towards A from T-spawn, I believe. So what's happening is VP wants to throw off a basic fake. They actually smoke at the end of the B hall's balcony. While that is going to disallow some information for the CTs, it's going to not really allow them to know how many is actually pushing on this B bump side. When VP then gets this kind of entry, that starts a rotation, as you can see on the minimap. We only have 1 guy left on the A bump side. VP is like, which side do we go to? And they actually want to stick to their original fake. And it ends up being a very hectic round, and people end up swapping places. You see Pasha getting into jungle. You see them now moving out of kitchen. And
at this point, this round should be over.
This should be over, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, because, I actually don't really know why, but it ends up being a clutch situation where Dobry&Gaming comes out on top, and that's one of the key factors, because when you can win rounds where you shouldn't win, you obviously are going to be able to have a really good CT half, and when you can win rounds like this, I expect them to take the map.
Yeah, well,
you give respect to Mausinho there, who gets on the box in next to the ticket booth, and he actually tries to force that kill, and he gets that kill, and that's going to equalize the numbers, making the 2 and 2 totally different numbers, or situations. So it's also the intuition of an individual there, understanding that, okay, the bomb's about to be down, we're going to be in a 2 and 3 situation, which is going to be virtually, unless barring a mistake from Virtus.pro, going to be impossible for them to take. So he felt the situation, the need to make the aggression at that point.
And kind of got slightly greedy now, I think, because what happens is both of the VP players goes towards the bump side, and one of them wants to cover the bump planter, who's initially just taking the bump plant. And as soon as Mausinho gets the first pick, he could just back off, but he sees the other guys planting. He actually makes a plant, and he has time enough to pull out his weapon and makes it a 1-on-1. Sparrow, while running with his AWP, actually manages to take the guy, trying to time his push out in the open, because That's the thing when you're pinned on the hotspot box. It says the last VP player here was like you don't want to wait too long to get a shot in one of the sides and not have any information, but you don't want to run into the crosshair of your opponent just waiting for you either.
Let's go into some more points shortly. We have another interview with Lord, who we spoke to earlier in the competition, so let's see that.
Okay, so at this tournament we started with a pretty hard game against Navi, so we didn't have anything to lose, so we just played our game. And after we won that game, we gained a lot of confidence. So we knew we can beat any team here. So that's it at this tournament. Like, this is Polish team, so we know each other very well for a long time, and I think we're gonna play our best to beat them, because my guys really want to beat them to prove that there is another Polish team who is capable of doing like big things in CSGO scene. And I hope there is gonna be a good game to watch for viewers. We didn't put any goal at this tournament. I think we just wanted to play our game and do the best we can. We didn't expect it to be in the winner bracket final because of the bracket where we have to play against Navi in the first game. But after, like I said before, after we won that game, we gained a lot of confidence, and we know we can do really good at this tournament. At least we are in top 3 at the moment, so that's good enough. But we are hungry to get more. It's hard to say because it's a team game. But I think that it might be Snags with his sneaky plays and stuff. Yeah, I think it might be Snags. Yeah, the Olimpijski Stadium in Kyiv is awesome, and that's the first time we have been playing on such a big stage, so that's pretty awesome for us. And I hope that the viewers gonna see a nice game, and we are at least excited to play in front of Ukraine people, so I hope they're gonna see a good game in return.
Lord, they're saying that they want to prove there is another Polish team that can do a lot in the CSGO scene. And Lord, if you would like to prove that, you need to start by doing it on Dust 2. Which, if there was ever an opportunity to take a hold of and exploit, it would be that.
This is a golden opportunity, because I'm not really sure what kind of dementia is it with Virtus.pro, just forgetting about, it's like...
Forgetting about Dust 2?
It's
they're
like
Dr. Dre.
we thought Nuke replaced Dust 2, and never mind, it didn't. Dust 2 is still there, it's in the map pool, but again, it could be a case of we don't know everything, and it could be that these teams have practiced it.
Last time Taz told me that they'd practiced it, they lost 16-3 to Astralis. And it was like their pocket. It was like their pocket pick in the tournament in the semifinals, and I was like, okay.
Playing Astralis and Dust 2 is, when you are not that good on the map yourself, it's a bit of a YOLO moment. So
yeah, exactly. But they were like, no, don't worry,
still,
we've practiced.
The fact of the matter is, obviously, you want to widen that map pool. So fair kudos to them. I mean, maybe they want to use this tournament as a proving ground. They waited for the right opportunity. Maybe they felt that the Ex-CSGL is not such a strong team on that map. So, it'll be okay for them to leave that open against them in the map pool.
I guess that's the benefit they have actually as well, because we know that VP aren't known as a Dust 2 team, but neither, and I think you brought this up, Casper, the fact that, CSGO Lounge aren't either. Sure, they can play it. It's not like they viciously avoid it like they do with Inferno, but it's not something they go to. When Dobry have the chance, they would either go with a map like Cash or Cobble, but, they... this could definitely be, I guess, an easier opponent for Virtus.pro, especially because they are someone who are very well known to them, to kind of ease into Dust 2.
And I actually have a prime example of this kind of thinking in the Vito system, because when we played your team, Nacho, ENS, in the minor qualifier, when I was in Bucharest and you were as well, ENS always seemed to remove Overpass, and we hadn't played Overpass either, so they could see that on the previous games that we didn't play it either, and it was always our go-to ban. And luckily, in that 1 week up to the minor qualifier, we'd actually been playing it a bit, and we weren't counting on ENS not to remove it or anything, but when they didn't, we were like, you know, it's not our strength, it's not Ents either, but we knew that Ents probably had the slight advantage of being the better team, so we went for the pick and we took that map, ended up losing 2-1, but
I remember I was watching it.
Yeah, but like on overpass again, like that's the thing sometimes. If you see that the other team is not really playing the map, that's like it probably wouldn't happen with Navi since they're the second best team in the world. But if they played a team which always removed cash, at some point they might have considered, okay, let's not remove it. But then again, it's Navi, they're the second best team in the world, so for them, these kind of rules doesn't really apply.
Is this pick for Dobry Ex-CSGL more of a pick based on their strengths? Probably not, going by what you guys are saying, or the fact that they're trying to exploit a weakness.
Sure.
It's a map that they're capable of playing. It's not like one of their best maps or anything. Something they can still hang with. But they know that the fact of the matter is that it's been the kryptonite of Virtus.pro for the longest time. So this is an interesting mind game, this whole map being in the pool. I mean, we don't know if it's if it's Virtus.pro having practiced now at hardcore and this is their time to shine on it, or we're going to see a massive 16-0 reckoning by Virtus.pro, or is this going to be a El Clasico where they think they've improved upon it, but then in a real match environment, they're just going to be disastrous.
Exactly, it is one big question mark because it's not like we can look at like previous games 1 or 2 weeks ago and be like, well, obviously they liked being able to take some kind of map control over the short area, or they just simply rush B all the time, or they didn't have any good long takes. Like, we have absolutely nothing to go for. I mean, we basically just have to wait and see, because obviously it's not the best map or third best map or anything by any of these two teams, but it's a team that both teams has been willing to let in the map pool, and we'll just have to let them take it away.
It's going to be a bit of a wild ride.
Roller coaster, boys.
Make sure to
buckle up.
back.
Buckle up.
Yep. Sit down, boys.
Yeah, but it should be interesting. I mean, we could be impressed by how well VP finally plays Dust 2, or we could get into a really exciting third map.
Or be like this.
Yeah, well, yeah,
that's.
I guess that would be the back end of it. Like, if it goes to third map, wondering what VP were doing.
The last time, I was just checking, the last time VP played Dust 2 was at CEVO, and they did lose to Tempo Storm. Again, we can't use
that was also a best of... no, was that a best of 3 or best of 5?
Best of 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, nonetheless, we can't really use the chain logic from that, but it just goes to show that these guys aren't always trying to play this map.
Losing to Brazilians in CS anymore is not a shame, by the way.
No, not at all.
absolutely
Not at all. That's not what I'm saying.
It wasn't that even back in the day. MIBR. G3X, all those teams used to be very good. With also the Asians used to be really good. We met Fox, the Astros, the WNVs. You know, they were... Yeah, okay, now we're going down the memory lane. No one even knows what we're talking about.
2005.
Those are special memories for you, Natu, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, no. Well, I played against, I think, WNV like maybe once, and we played against We Met Fox with 4 Kings back in the day. Those would remember 4 Kings.
Or WEM?
I think ESWC in 2006, I want to say. So just 10 years ago.
Just 10 years ago, only
half my lifetime. I mean,
half your lifetime, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I was already 7 years into my Counter-Strike career.
Yeah.
So.
Been going for a while.
Great,
freaking noob.
No, but that's great. Great to have history on the desk, for sure. We appreciate that. Just waiting for the second map to kick off. And it would be great to get some news on that. Otherwise, we could potentially go to a break if there is too much time in between this segment now and the next map beginning. There's not too much time, so let's just keep going. Let's
I love that.
Let's do a final.
I love the segue there.
Yeah, no, well, for sure. Let's just, do some final sort of wrapping up of this segment. Just put it out there. What's going to happen on Dust 2?
But that's the thing. It's a bit of a wild card. I think that's
Don't have a magic crystal or 8-ball or whatever.
Well, I know.
That's the issue. If I had one, I would definitely tell you.
you can't give me one of those like special
Magic
drinks,
8-balls?
or the special drinks that they make, in this kind of big pots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could give me maybe a love pot.
There's
And
a
the
knife round coming out.
The knife round
Boys,
comes
the
in.
knife is about to take place.